All right, welcome to our e-learning video. We're going to talk about lesson 6.1, which is percents and decimals. So we're going to change decimals to percents and then percents to decimals. So pretty simple. So if I'm going from, and let's start off with one of those reference numbers that we talked about earlier in the year. Let's talk about 50%. Most of us know that 50% as a decimal is 0.5, okay? So using what we know, how can I go from 50% to 0.5? Mathematically, we divide by 100. Okay. Functionally, in 50%, my decimal is right here. So if I'm dividing by 100, it's the same as moving my decimal 2 places to the left. Okay, to go from a percent to a decimal, we're going to move our decimal 2 places left. All the time, 100% of the time. To change a percent to a decimal, we're always going to move our decimal 2 places to the left, no matter what it looks like. So, here's some examples. 10%. That's 10% as a decimal. So, in the number 10, in any whole number, where's my decimal at? It's at the end. So we follow our rule. We move our decimal 2 places to the left. Now I like to use this arrow, just kind of eliminates some mistakes. So my decimal has moved 2 places, so now it's in front of my 1. So my decimal is 0.10 or 0.1. We can drop that 0 off at the end. That's called an extraneous 0. Okay? Get a little bit different type of decimal. So kind of a weird looking one. So 12.5%. So there's my decimal. So now in this case it's a decimal percentage, so I see my decimal. So we follow our rules. We move our decimal 2 places to the left, which is dividing by 100. So my decimal equivalent is 0.125. Okay? Because I started here and I moved it 2 places to the left. Again, it doesn't matter what it looks like. We always move it 2 places to the left. Okay? Let's go back to whole number. So now we're over 100%, so 119%. So again, it's a whole number, so my decimal's at the end. So we follow my rule, move my decimal 2 places to the left, so 1, 2. So now my decimal's moved between my 1s, so my decimal equivalent is 1.19. Now, what's the difference? The difference is that these were all less than 100%, so my decimal is going to come before it. Here, my percent is greater than 100%, so my decimal is going to fall in the middle. Okay. What about 1%? So now it's a really small percentage. Rules don't change. It's a whole number. My decimal's here at the end. How many places do I move my decimal? All the time? Good. 2 places. 1, 2. Okay. This is where I like to use those arrows. Well, there's a gap right here. So what do I need to put in that gap? Good job. A 0. Get rid of my decimal at the end. So my decimal equivalent to 1% is 0.01. So now let's do the opposite. Let's go from a decimal to a percent. Okay? So percent to a decimal, I divide by 100%. So what do you think we're going to do to go backwards? You're exactly right. We're going to multiply by 100%. Okay? Well, if I divide by 100% by moving my decimal 2 places to the left, if I multiply by 100%, I'm going to move my decimal. You got it, 2 places to the right. So move decimal 2 places to the right. All the time. No matter what it looks like, we're going to move our decimal 2 places to the right. Okay? So, here we go. Let's say we have start with our reference, 0.5 again. Well, we know that 0.5 is 50%. It's one of our reference numbers that we should know from beginning of the year. So what do? I move my decimal 2 places to the right, 1, 2, and again, I like to use those arrows. I have a gap here. Let's put our 0 in. So my percent is 50%. So again, by knowing our reference numbers, we can figure out our answers by referring back. Okay? So I start with a known. So 0.2. Okay? So 0.2 as a percent. Rules don't change. We move my decimal 2 places to the right. 1, 2. Fill your gap with a 0. So 0.2, is 20%. Another one, 0.35. Okay, now we move our decimal 2 places to the right. Now all my numbers get filled, or my loops are filled. So my decimal moved. So my answer is 35%. We always move our decimal 2 places to the right. What about 1.05? So looks a little bit weird, okay? Rules don't change. How many places do we move our decimal? Exactly right. 2. 1, 2. So my percentage is 105%. Again, it's over 100% because I have a mixed decimal number. Okay? Let's even go the other way to the extreme. 0.005. Okay? Does anything change? Absolutely not. Make our loops, move our decimal 2 places to the right. 1, 2. Now, it's going to fit in front of that 5. So my answer is 0.5. Now I'm going from a decimal to a percent, so I need to always have my percent sign. So you'll notice in recap, percent to a decimal, I move my decimal 2 places to the left, which is the same as dividing by 100%. To go from a decimal to a percent, I'm going to multiply by 100%, which moves my decimal 2 places to the right. My office hours is, just a second.